That thought hit me like a punch to the chest as I watched her shift uneasily on the edge of the couch. Fingers tangled in the throw pillow like it was the only thing keeping her steady. The screen flickered, casting shadows across her face. Shadows I didn't recognize. Shadows that belonged to someone else. I had pressed play on the video with my hands trembling, convinced it would be a simple, harmless way to share something meaningful. It was supposed to be a memory, something from the early days of our marriage, a reminder of laughter and late-night confessions, of promises whispered in the dark. But now, sitting across from me, she looked distant, avoidant. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice catching. The silence that followed felt heavier than any argument we'd ever had. She nodded, but it wasn't enough. I could see it in her eyes, the hesitation, the guilt she thought I hadn't noticed. I swallowed hard. "You don't have to finish if it's too much," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I just... She broke off, twisting her wedding ring, a nervous tick I hadn't seen in years. "I can't." Her words were small, but they echoed in my chest like a hammer. "Can't?" I asked, leaning forward, desperate to understand, terrified of what I might hear. "Why?" She shrugged, a fragile, distant motion. "It's a lot." I wanted to reach out, to hold her hand, and tell her it was okay, that we could face whatever this memory stirred together. But something about her hesitation didn't feel right. I had spent years believing in our bond, believing that nothing could pierce the armor we'd built around each other. Yet here she was, unraveling in front of me, her excuses flimsy, her eyes darting the phone on the side table every few seconds. That was the first seed of suspicion, small and almost imperceptible, but it rooted quickly. Over the next few days, I found myself watching her more closely. She was late coming home from work. Her laughter on the phone sounded practiced, as though she were performing a part she didn't want me to see. Her text disappeared from the screen whenever I walked by, and I noticed the soft click of her phone being locked, her thumb hovering over the screen like she expected someone or something terrible to appear. I told myself I was imagining it. I told myself I was being paranoid. But the unease gnawed at me, a persistent ache that wouldn't leave. Every time she kissed me goodbye, I noticed a hesitancy, the slight recoil that had never been there before. The warmth I once felt was now distant, like sunlight filtered through storm clouds. Then came the day I found the first undeniable clue. I was looking for the charger I'd left on the nightstand, fumbling through drawers when I noticed her laptop open, half hidden under a pile of magazines. The screen was awake, revealing an email draft, words half-typed, unsent. My heart froze as I read the subject line. "Can't wait to see you again." I didn't read further. I shouldn't have needed to. The words burned into me anyway. Betrayal doesn't need proof to wound. Suspicion, once planted, is a blade waiting to be drawn. That night, I confronted her. "Who's this?" I asked quietly, holding the laptop like it was a weapon. My hands shook, but I forced myself to speak with the steadiness of someone who needed answers. Her face paled. "It's nothing," she said quickly, too quickly. Just a friend. Work stuff. Work stuff." I echoed, my voice rising. "The subject line says, 'Can't wait to see you again.' That's work stuff." Her eyes filled with tears, but it wasn't the regret I hoped for. It was fear. Fear of being caught. Fear of exposure, not fear of hurting me. That realization cut deeper than any betrayal ever could. I didn't want you to know," she whispered, voice trembling. "I didn't mean for it to." "Stop," I said, feeling a cold attachment settle over me. "Just stop." The following weeks became a careful dance of observation. I traced her movements, noted the timing of her calls, listened to the tone in her voice when she thought I wasn't paying attention. Every lie she told herself was a mirror for the one she told me. And I, desperate to maintain some semblance of control, documented it all. Screenshots, timestamps, conversations that contradicted her casual reassurances. I remember the night I finally saw him. She had gone out for a meeting. And I followed quietly, keeping the shadows like a ghost of my former self. The cafe was small, dimly lit, and there he was, laughing at a joke she made. leaning too close, hands brushing in ways that should have been reserved for me. My chest tightened. My hands went cold. My world fractured in slow motion. I didn't confront them that night. I just watched numbly as she leaned into him, her smile bright and unguarded in a way it hadn't been with me for months. Watching her happiness with someone else, someone outside of me, was more painful than I ever imagined betrayal could be. When I finally returned home, she was waiting. Her eyes softened when she saw me, but the warmth was false. "Did you enjoy your meeting?" I asked, voice quiet, almost a whisper. Her brow furrowed. Yes, it went well. Are you okay?" I smiled, a hollow, bitter smile that she didn't recognize. "I'm learning." That night, I sat alone, thinking about the life we had, the memories we shared, and the trust that had been shattered beyond repair. I replayed every conversation, every subtle shift in her behavior, every unfinished video we had tried to share. And I understood something painful and undeniable. The person I had loved was not the person sitting next to me anymore. Weeks later, the confrontation came, not with anger, not with shouting, but with quiet, suffocating clarity. I laid out everything I had found, every lie, every stolen moment, every email and hidden text. I watched her face, expecting tears, excuses, maybe even defiance. Instead, she crumpled, silent, admitting nothing, yet admitting everything in a way she avoided my gaze. I never meant to hurt you," she finally whispered. But it was too late. Words are cheap when trust dies quietly, like a candle snuffed out in the night. The house felt hollow, the walls echoing memories that had lost their meaning. I packed my things that night, leaving behind more than furniture. I left behind a life I believed in, the life I had fought for, the life that no longer existed. Standing at the door, keys in hand, I looked back once, hoping for some spark of the woman I had loved. There was none, only the reflection of someone I had known and now, painfully, would never know again. "I told you to sit and watch," I said quietly, almost to myself, but you couldn't even finish the video. I didn't need her to answer. The silence said everything. The betrayal had played on repeat long before I had the courage to see it, and it would linger long after I walked away. I closed the door gently, the final click echoing like the end of a chapter one didn't want to write, but had no choice but to finish. Outside, the night was still, cold, but for the first time in months, I breathed freely. Pain lingered, yes, but with it came clarity, a raw understanding that love could be betrayed, but dignity, mine, was still mine to claim. And somewhere deep inside, I promised myself I would never forget the lesson, the hollow ache of trust lost, the impossible weight of love turned against me. She couldn't finish the video, but I would finish my life differently, even if it meant walking alone.